You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 147.4, the Boys Basketball Report, our Madison County wrap-up with guest Rob Hunt. We'll also hear from Anderson head coach Donnie Bowling and Anderson senior Aaron Morgan.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Welcome, basketball fans, to the Basketball Report, where we take a look back at the Madison County Tournament. In just a couple of minutes, I will be joined by Rob Hunt of the Herald-Bulletin to break down the Madison County Tournament. I also interviewed Anderson head coach Donnie Bowling and senior Aaron Morgan on Monday night after the Anderson Indians won their fourth consecutive Madison County Tournament on Monday, 2 days later than expected because of the weather. Anderson is now 11-1 on the season after a 78-61 win over Liberty Christian, their second win over the Lions this year. It's the seventh win in a row for Anderson. Senior Aaron Morgan had a career-high 25 points. Damian King added 17 points and 10 rebounds. And Titus Hunter had 14 points, Javon Warfield 10 points, and 5 assists, according to Rob Hunt of the Herald-Bulletin. I asked Morgan about his performance after the game.
Welcome to the Central Indiana Sports Report to Anderson senior Aaron Morgan. What a game. Were you intending to be more aggressive, or was it just something that happened through the game?
Well, coach told me that one of our starters was out and he's injured, so I had to step up. And last game I only had 3, and I had to come back and show them that I'm capable of playing with them and showing them that I'm good to play out here and showing them that I'm next up and ready for the next level.
I know this isn't your ultimate goal. You guys got big goals ahead, but on your scale of goals, how big is this one?
This is a big goal for us because Coach Bowling really wanted the score peat, and we showed him that we could get the score peat for him. And this is going to make him happy, and it's going to make the team happy, and we're going to keep going from here. It don't end here, though.
In fact, Friday night, you take a trip to play a really good Lafayette Jeff team in a conference game. Big one.
Yeah, and we're just going to keep that energy going the whole time. We're not going to let up until we get that state championship.
All right, thank you so much, Aaron. It was very nice meeting you. And
thank you. It was nice meeting you, too.
Congratulations on the championship.
Thank you.
20-win seasons and Madison County championships are expected now for Anderson, but it wasn't that way just a couple of years ago. In fact, Bowling's first season, they won 11 games, but they started that season 1-4 and lost to Liberty Christian in the opening round of the Madison County Tournament. The year before that, under Mike Elliott, they won 2 games. It had been a struggle for many, many years for Anderson to get to the point where they are 4-time reigning Madison County champions. And I talked to Coach Bowling about that accomplishment.
Well, Coach, thinking back about where this program was just a few years ago, to think 4 county championships in a row, pretty special.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of surreal. I told somebody, I told somebody when I first got the job here, that first year was COVID, so that was a good thing because when we got beat by Liberty Christian, all people could do was talk about me on Facebook, but they weren't actually in the game. So, getting beat by Liberty Christian, if you're the Anderson Indian coaches, nothing against Liberty, but the people here, they were already questioning whether I should have been the coach and this, that, the other. And so to have this on a 4-peat and then we actually win against a Liberty Christian is, I think it is a step to show where the program has gone from where we were at 5 years ago.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Obviously this isn't the end goal, but where does Madison County rank in your goals coming into the season?
Oh, that's one of the goals all the time. We got pretty much 4 goals. You want to play good the first half of the season. The second goal is win the Madison County. Third goal is to win the NCC. And then the fourth goal is to make a strong tournament run, which our thing this year, we always say sectional, but if you see Coach Malby was my coach in high school, and he coached Counterfield. Actually, I think last time Anderson was in the final game of the state was Coach Malby when he beat him at Counterfield. But our goal is to make the state run. So that's the goal. And Coach Malby always had, back in the day when I was going to school, it was an RCA Dome in Baker's Life. So now, Gainesbridge is our goal.
You have a lot of really good players on this team. made obvious by the job that Aaron Morgan did tonight. Talk about the job he did.
I think I've seen that in Aaron from the beginning, but he just never could get it. How do I put it? He's a great athlete. He's more of a football player, but I knew that if we could get him to just be a little bit, slow it down just a little bit more, and he did, and I think you see a basketball player now.
You said you've accomplished 2 of your 4 goals. The third one is the NCC big one on Friday against Lafayette Jeff.
Big one. I think they're 12-2, and then we got to go on the road. And our thing right now, I think if anybody's kept up with us, we're 27-2 in the NCC the last 3 years. So we've lost 2 games. It's been the Kokomo. So we don't want to start losing against Lafayette Jeff. So and Lafayette Jeff is always they're a good team this year. Yep.
It was the second straight trip to the Madison County Championship for Liberty Christian, and sophomore TJ English led all scores with 31 points, according to Rob Hunt. The Lions are right back at it on Thursday when they host 4-7 Tinley. In the game before Anderson Liberty Christian, the third place game, Pendleton Heights beat Frankton 51-34. After a 1-5 start, Pendleton has won 4 of its last 5 to improve to 5-6. The Arabians shot 68% from 2-point range. Junior Cooper Sims had 17 points to lead the way. Seniors Evan Mazingo and Joe Estes scored 8 points apiece. Mazingo led the Arabians with 3 steals, Estes with 4 rebounds. Big weekend coming up for the Arabians. They host the 3A number 7 New Pal, which is 10-2 on Friday. Then host Shelbyville on Saturday, the first and second of 3 straight conference games for Pendleton. Frankton is now 3-7. They actually out-rebounded Pendleton 20-19 and have out-rebounded every team they've played this season, and they are not a big team. The undoing was 18 turnovers. Pendleton scored 21 points off of those turnovers, which was a big reason that they were 68% from 2-point range. The Eagles were led by senior Brady Carmack, who had 8 points and a couple of steals. Senior Joey Wright scored 7 points. Frankton hosts 4-6 Madison Grant on Friday in a CIC game. It's a win they're going to need to stay in the conference race. LaPel beat Anderson Prep 95-55 to finish in 5th place. On Friday, the only game that was actually played in the final round, Alexandria beat Elwood for 7th place. In the girls' tournament, just a reminder, Pendleton Heights won its first championship in 4 years. They beat Frankton in the championship. Frankton reached the championship game for the first time in over a decade. Alexandria beat Elwood for 3rd place. Alexandria, of course, is 18-1 now. It was Elwood's first time in the top 4 in the county tournament in over a decade. LaPel was 5th, Anderson Prep 6th, Anderson 7th, and Liberty Christian finished 8th. Please stay tuned for Rob Hunt of the Herald-Bulletin.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Well, Rob, the Madison County Tournament is over, and I think it went almost exactly as we expected.
Yeah, a couple postponements. That was really the only thing that slowed Anderson down, right?
Yes,
the weather.
right.
Postponed him a couple nights, but I think one of the things that strikes me about the whole week is just, the 2 most dominant programs in the sport in the county were dominant this week. I mean, the Pendleton Heights girls win their 11th, which is the most all the time, and do it in very one-sided fashion. And then Anderson does the same. Not only is their 10th, which leads everybody, but they also won their 4th in a row, which had never been done. They were one of 3 teams that had won 3 in a row. And they also set a high water mark for combined margin for the week, which I believe with today's game it was 93. Could have been a lot more than that. They were really big tonight, and Liberty it got a little weird there in the 4th quarter late. But they beat Alec by 58 points early in the week at double-digit wins against pretty solid Frankton and Liberty Christian teams. So that was kind of one of the things I took away with is the dominant programs were dominant this week.
Real fast, let's talk about the job Donnie Bowling's done. I know you've talked about it a lot from took over a program that had won 2 games the previous year, hadn't had much success in the previous decade, at least not up to Anderson's standards.
Correct. Yeah.
And to take over this job, he referenced back to, I believe it was his third game he ever coached at Anderson. They lost to Liberty Christian in the first round of the Madison County Tournament, and he said people were starting to question whether he was the right guy. 3 games
Yeah.
into it, and
Yeah.
now,
He talked with me about that for the story tonight too.
yeah,
And I don't remember if it was his third game. If that was might have been a COVID thing. If the games were being played that early, but it was certainly his first Madison County tournament game, and that was a pretty good Liberty Christian team too that beat him that year. And yeah, and I think I don't know that I heard much of is he the right guy, but I'm sure he probably did in those circles. The Anderson fan base is very passionate; they want to win everything.
yes,
Understandably so. They're used to a certain level, and
it's their
getting
sport.
beat by what's that? Yeah, absolutely. And getting beat by a 1A school, and no matter how good the 1A school is, getting beat by a 1A school in the tournament is not something they want to deal with. So all he's done is win every game since in the county. So
Yes,
yeah, he's done a phenomenal job there. He's they are at or near 20 wins. They're ranked or receiving votes every year. He turns out all-star caliber players every year. Whether they actually get the nod or not is a different matter for a
right.
different day. The only knock, really, and I don't know if this is a knock against him or the team, is just, man, they've run into some buzzsaws in that sectional.
That's the issue, isn't it?
Yeah, and I can't. I don't think that's anything he's doing wrong.
Nope.
I just think that Mount Vernon team that beat him a couple times was legit. They had
Yes.
at least 3 D1 players, actually a 4th if you count the younger Ertl kid now. And then Greenfield Central is what they are. I mean,
Yes.
they're a legit top 5 team, and they're gonna have to deal with one or both of them this year at sectional.
No doubt about that. But it's really good to see Anderson basketball back. It really is.
Isn't basketball around here better when they're good?
So much.
I mean, I remember. I mean, I kind of came into this business 2013, 2014, and they were just, I don't want to say a joke, but you just knew they weren't competitive with the better
Right.
teams. I mean, they were getting beat by Lapel on a regular basis, and Lapel's a great program, don't get me wrong, but
Right.
Anderson should not lose to 2A teams.
Not very often.
They should win this. I mean, just based on tradition, Anderson should win this county tournament almost every year, other than Pendleton Heights winning it every now and then, right?
Yes.
So, I remember what it was like that. Now, I'm gonna have to go back and look. It's been a while since they lost to a county team, and that Liberty Christian loss might have been it. Even in the regular season, I don't think they've lost to anybody around here. So, they've kind of had their way even with Pendleton Heights. So, Donnie has done a fantastic job, and yeah, it's just better when Anderson basketball is really good. It just is.
And they have a lot of seniors. Liberty Christian has a couple, but is dominated mostly by underclassmen. So that rivalry probably is going to continue.
I would think, and I think Coach Bowling has got the pipeline going in the right direction at Anderson.
Yes.
I think this group moves on. There's going to be other kids stepping in. Just like we saw tonight with Aaron Morgan, who's come out of nowhere this year. Barely played last year. He's averaging about 7 points a game this year, but he's starting and blew up tonight, 25 points. And they get the Hunter kid who transfers in from Pike, and he's a difference maker on the interior. Really frees Damian King up to play on the outside.
Yes.
We know what a great player he is. So, I think we'll definitely. Colin Lewis, they've got another year for him at the point guard position. So,
then a couple of Bowlings are coming.
The Bowling kids are Don is not able to play right now. He's injured. Got a calf issue. Sounds like he's going to be out for a little while, but they're pretty good players. So I don't think Anderson's going anywhere. And you mentioned that youth at Liberty, those 3 sophomores. Tamarji English is absolutely the truth. I mean, he was arguably the best player on the court. He was just outnumbered by what Anderson had.
Right.
I mean, he finished with 31 points tonight to lead all scorers, and really, there were stretches in the game where if he wasn't on the court, Anderson was up by 40. I mean, he was literally keeping Liberty Christian afloat for quite a bit of that game.
Incredible instincts by that guy.
Yes.
He's gonna be a good one.
He can finish. He can handle the ball. He's pretty good defensively too. I think that's one of the things that gets lost with him is he's really good defensively. So
And he jumped to
he's,
block a shot, Rob, that he didn't get to, but I swear he was 12 feet in the air. So
he may very well have been. He can absolutely sky, and he's by the way, really nice kid.
yes, he is. He's been
Pretty
a
well
guest on the
spoken.
Central Indiana Sports Report.
Yeah, yeah. Got to spend some time with him, of course, during that tournament run last year, and all those kids. They're all each different personalities. You got the three are Ty Wayne Fuller is a little more outgoing, uh, uh, verbose. I guess would be a
Yes.
word you to
Yes.
describe Ty Wayne Fuller, and
Yes.
knowing that he is Kojak's nephew, that
Yeah,
should come as
correct.
no surprise.
No
That
surprise.
he will. Yeah, so he can talk. And he's really good distributing the ball and handling it super fast with the ball. And then Kendrick Martin's the other a big kid who can really score it and finish. Had some issues tonight with foul trouble. Got a technical, which got him in foul trouble as well. So they got to get that under control. But those three, it's gonna be gonna be a really fun run for the Lions the next 3 years.
Yeah, nothing against the other programs in Madison County, but it sure looks like those two are the two to look out for.
I would think so. Hey, Pendleton Heights is coming. We talk about that
Let's talk
sectional
about
down
Pendleton
there.
Heights now because
Yeah, we
they
can
had a
talk about.
really good tournament.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that team, they're that we talk about that sectional, and I don't want to leave Pendleton Heights out of that conversation because they're playing pretty well right now. Cooper Sims and Evan Mazingo are just absolutely lighting up the scoreboard. Sean Singh has really developed into a really good post player, and he's distributing the ball well. I think they're going to be a team that, yeah, absolutely. Oh, he's a phenomenal passer out of the post. And I think that's going to be one of those teams. They're not going to be anybody's favorite. Like, nobody's going to pick Pendleton Heights to win that sectional.
Right.
But they might be, as much as anybody else in the sectional, they might be a team nobody wants to play. And I'm sure, Mount, because they're going to, Mount Vernon, Anderson, Greenfield, basically everybody in that, they all play each other during the season.
Yeah.
So,
yes. It's a crazy sectional.
Yeah, Coach Joe Buck's going to get a preview of all those teams during the season, whether he beats them or not. And he's going to have a game plan ready for that postseason. And he's got the talent.
Yes, he does.
To cause people problems. Whether they could upset a team like a Greenfield or something like that remains to be seen. But that's just a really crazy deep sectional for sure.
I'll tell you what, when they played against Chittard and in that fourth grade, it was, I believe, tied maybe at the end of the third, and they ended up winning by 15. If Cooper Sims can get on fire like he did in that game, they can beat anybody.
Yeah, and you complement his scoring ability with what Evan Mazingo did this week. He was a phenomenal player this week. I mean, he's an excellent shooter. He always has been, but really elevated his game, I thought, this week. Played very, very well all week. And, it's fun to see the Coach Buck coach team when they're moving the ball the way they're supposed to. And they had to be patient tonight because Frankton was in no hurry. That's Coach Brobson's style. They're going to be careful with the ball. They're going to, pass the ball around. They're going to look for a good shot.
Right.
And defensively, you've got to be patient. You got to, you can get into foul trouble if you get impatient when you're playing a team like that. And I thought the Arabians handled the Eagles pretty well tonight. Dealt with that kind of potential frustration really, really well. And then Cooper Sims goes out and scores 17 points.
By the way, Frankton's 3-7 now. One thing I want to point out is they've out-rebounded every single opponent, and they are not a very big team. They out-rebounded Pendleton 20-19 tonight.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
And all 7 of those losses have been away from home.
And now almost all their games are at home. And I was looking at their schedule, Rob. They may not lose another game in the regular season. Yeah.
I mean, you got a point guard like Joey Wright, who I would put the ball in his hands anytime with the game on the line. Brady Carmack's having a phenomenal year in the post, and sophomore Trey Bennett is a big kid who's only been playing basketball for about a year and a half, I'm told, and he's averaging about 70 rebounds a game. He figures it out offensively. They've got a pretty good triangle that you can deal with.
Yes,
there at Franklin.
And they have coming up Madison Grant at home, Taylor at home. That's going to be a tough one. Taylor's really good and very athletic. But then after that, Blackford at home, Westdale at home, Elwood, Tri-Central at home, at Wabash at home. Then you're talking about a stretch there where they could really get on fire and kind of start to figure themselves out.
Yeah, the Taylor. I think is Taylor still undefeated?
Taylor's still undefeated.
still undefeated. So that's going to be a big one there at the Eagles Nest, and that's a tough place to come in and play. I don't care how good you are.
It
See
is.
some really good teams go in there and not come out of it good. I don't know that they're going to win every single one of those games, but they've got a chance to get on a run, like you said, and pick up some wins, get some confidence, and that'll be another team to deal with in that sectional.
And then Lapel won tonight, beat Anderson Prep 95-55 for 5th place. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
Alexandria beat Elwood for 7th place on Friday. I think the final order might have been exactly what I predicted. I think I actually predicted Frankton would beat Liberty Christian. But otherwise, I think it almost went exactly how we expected it to.
Yeah, it nearly did. I mean, that was kind of
Yes.
the game of the week. I thought, at
Yes.
least certainly the closest game went into ended up coming down to a 3-point basket at the buzzer. Not a ton of huge surprises. Maybe some of the margins along the way were a little surprising. We talked about that a little bit on the girls' side, but overall, it was a phenomenal week. Couple weather delays aside, it would have been nice to have seen this game that was played at Anderson tonight on a Friday instead of on a Monday. Just
Yes.
maybe get more people there. There were some empty seats upstairs, which isn't surprising on a Monday. Plus, it was 10 degrees outside. I don't know what in the world makes us live in a part of the world. Well, I don't know what makes us live in a part of the world where it's 10 degrees outside, that potential. But anyway,
Yes.
again, another different story, different time. But you'd like to see the place full, but you're not going to see that on a Monday night. So, but overall, great week. The stars shone for sure. The best players, the best teams. We saw some good coaching. There's a reason why this is one of my favorite weeks of the year.
Last thing, Rob, Anderson goes to Lafayette Jeffrey. Obviously, Anderson's probably the co-favorite with Kokomo right now in the conference. But
I would think so.
This Lafayette Jeff team I saw this summer, they are very athletic and very skilled and very talented. They have won 8 games in a row. Is this a potential trap game for Anderson?
Yeah, if they're thinking about Kokomo, they better not look past Lafayette Jeff. Many a NCC title has gone to Lafayette to die. That's a
Yes.
long drive, and so they better. I'm sure Coach Bowling will have them focus on that. One thing about this Anderson team, it's as deep as an Anderson team as I've seen recently. A couple of these teams during this run have basically been the starting 5, maybe one guy off the bench. This team's got some players coming off the bench that can score on you. So
No doubt.
I think Coach Bowling has as deep and as balanced a team. I mean, 4 guys in double figures tonight.
Can't wait to see what they do the rest of the season. Rob, it was good seeing you tonight and last week and talking with you about basketball. I'll talk about basketball with anybody, anywhere, and it's always fun talking with you.
Absolutely, always fun. Big week this week. Girls wrestling state finals at the end of the week, and
Can't wait.
more great basketball, and finally going to get some swimming and all that stuff going on this week. It'll be fun.
Thank you so much to Rob Hunt for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report. One of our favorite guests. Love having him on to talk about Madison County sports. Also, thanks so much to Coach Donnie Bowling of the Anderson Indians and Anderson Senior Aaron Morgan for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report. And thank you for listening. Please go like, subscribe, or follow us at Amazon, Apple, SoundCloud, Spotify, or YouTube so you don't miss a single segment. and it would also be very helpful if you would tell a friend. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.